Well, now that I'm happy with my mountain, I kind of worked it a little bit more and got some more details in it. Now I want to kind of create like a deep valley down. It goes down and it comes back up again, because the viewpoint that I have is we are on a hillside over here and we're looking across at the side of that mountain. That's why it's so big and it's like in your face. So I want to put the viewer up high, like on another hill, and there's a valley between. So I'm going to create a little valley in here. I have added green to my palette, and I'm mixing the green with some blues and purples to get sort of a dull green. And we're going to use those colors for our valley. And so there's going to be some places where I think I'll just sort of establish a grassy or maybe a forest where there's sort of tree covered place. I just want to get some color in here, no special way at the moment, because I'll come in and add highlights after a bit. There might be some places where it gets a little lighter, where the light hits. So I'll do that part a little bit lighter because it kind of comes up, so it's going to be a little lighter. That might not be light enough, but for now, just to get it established as a green area, I'll come back and brighten it up again. I kind of like these darker greens down in here. This is, at the moment, it's just sort of an undertone. This is not the finished look. I just have to get some color here, is basically the goal at the moment. I will shape it. I'll come back in and I'll shape it later to make it look more like the foresty valley that I want. Right now I just wanted to get some color in there. There will be some trees growing up in here after I get the green kind of established. I just want a kind of a dark valley down in here. Yeah, I'm turning the page upside down. Just kind of fade off that color. Sorry, I keep turning it around. I just have to put it where it's easy for me to reach. 'Cause all I'm really doing at the moment is just blocking in some color. I want it a little bit lighter on this side because the light's coming from this side, and it has some darker values on that side. I want some of the purples to kind of show up underneath. There will be trees growing up in here. I may have to paint it more than once because it's like too light down in here. But like I say, the goal of this is just to get some color down in here. I think I'll make it a little bit darker on this side, like a little bit more blue on the lower side. I guess you could say this is an underpainting. Just establishing some values. I'm putting some blue on this end. Some blues and greens. Getting in glare with the light. That's okay for that to be a ridge. I may have some little trees go up in there at some point. Right now I'm just, it's about color. I just want sort of a darker blue-green mix. And then I'll come back and I think I need to let this dry a little bit, and then I'll come back and put another layer just to make it even darker down in here. I want to keep it light on that end. And then the third time I come back in, I will add the individual trees, and I'll have small, far away trees because we're going down in the valley and up the other side of the mountain, and there'll be some little tiny trees kind of climbing up the parts of the mountain up in here. And then I will make trees down in here where the light catches it. I kind of want this area to be slightly fogged over so you don't really see a lot of detail in here. And I already know I'm going to have a tree growing right here, and I'm going to have a couple of trees right up in here, and these trees are going to be up on this bank, and so they'll help to kind of frame the mountain. That's sort of my plan anyway. I'll come back in a little bit. Okay, so I went over it a second time. I'm mixing this light green with sometimes a light blue for a lighter green, with both the darker blue and the purple for some darker greens. And so it's sort of a purple green mix down in here. This is the lighter side, so I've kind of blended the purples intertwined with the greens to make this a very soft, smooth transition, because I want a lot of light coming in on this side, so I want this to be sort of hazy and less detail. And then as I worked across the canvas, my colors are getting more green. Down in here, the bottom of the valley, there's a lot of blues. So I've got some greens and blues, and yes, there's purple mixed in with the color, which helps to get the duller color. And over here, the blues are turning into greens. I have some lighter greens. And this is the second layer. I'm going to let this dry, and then I will come back in and I will actually start to make it look like trees. But I just love the color combinations. It's really pleasing to me. This painting I am doing for my own pleasure, because this is a mountain that marks a period of time in my history. A happy time. I lived near this mountain for 6 years, and it was one of the most beautiful places I've ever lived. Washington State, of all the states I've been in. I've traveled this country so much. I've been in all but 2 states. And Washington State is the most beautiful state in the continental U.S. It really is. It has everything. It has mountains, it has forests, it has a rainforest, it has this big old giant trees. The trees are taller, the green is greener, the mountains are more beautiful. It even has a coast. I mean, Washington State literally has everything. It's too bad that it's overrun with liberals. But anyways, it was beautiful. It was a happy time, a great time in my life. And so I'm painting this for me, from my pleasure. So I'm making it the way I want it. And I'm capturing this mountain in all of its glory to remind me of those great times. So I'm going to give it a few minutes for the acrylic to dry, and then I'll come in and start actually shaping some little tiny trees down in the valley. And even in the valley, there's going to be some highs and low places, because it's not just a smooth valley. There's a lot of ups and downs. But we'll come back and we'll work on those details. It's dry now, so I can start working on putting in some trees. I'm gonna have to switch to a smaller brush to be more fine tuning. I think I'll zoom in, and I want to make some little tree-like shapes, just little vertical. There's going to be some trees growing up in here. Just doing little short strokes that are vertical, just to indicate little tiny trees. I'm going to change the color every now and then, because there's a lot of trees down here in the valley. Some of them are growing up the side of the mountain. Adjust my color a little bit. I want some of the tops, like there's a ridge right here, so possibly there's some lighter ones there. And I'll probably do this for quite a while just to get the texture of trees. Where I want to have like an edge of like this is going to be a ridge, there'll be lighter ones along the edge, but down in here I want to have lots of darks to kind of indicate tree texture. I don't know if you can see that very well. Let me zoom in a little closer. See how I'm just kind of putting in little straight. Sometimes I vary the color just so you can see the texture. Just little vertical strokes. I just want it to look like the texture of trees. And I'll probably spend a few hours doing this, varying my colors a little bit. So the only brush strokes you'll see will be the tree texture, and then I'll come in and I'll add more highlights to them. So I'll do this for a little while and then we'll come back. Here is a still shot of the foundational color of the valley. The left side is sort of grayed out with less detail. I continue to paint short vertical strokes with a small brush over the valley, using some very dark, cool greens down in the deepest parts of the valley, with some warmer greens up on top where the sun might catch them. Purples were mixed with the greens to help get the dark greens. Yellow was added to get warmer and lighter greens for the tops of the ridges. I created a few dirt places or some clear, just simply grassy areas, just to add a little variety. As you're painting, think about the shape of the valley, the ups and the downs. You want the cool, dark colors on down in the deep places, and the lighter, warmer colors up on the top places. Don't forget to subscribe to get the continuing series of this art lesson.